Hello, my name is Benji and welcome to Dice vs Cards. Today we're looking at Doppelt So Clever to find out if rolling, writing and number crunching is really all it's cracked up to be. But most importantly, we find out if it's us that needs to be twice as clever or the game is twice as... So let's see how this plays and whether this could be the next game for you. In Doppelt So Clever, you're playing Yahtzee on the good ship steroids. If I had to be more helpful than that, I would say that this is a game where you take turns, rolling six-sided dice and fighting to cross out or number as many empty spaces across 5 categories as possible, in 4 to 6 rounds dependent on the player count. The catch is that the core of the game only allows you to pick 1 dice per roll and 3 dice per turn. Catch number 2 is that you have to discard any dice that has a face value less than the die you select each time. In other words, as a general rule, the higher numbered dice are better, but they also result in you discarding more when it comes to rolling the remaining dice a second and a third time. With me so far? So to give you some flavour of what the category's requirements are, the silver die allows you to bring all the dice of a lower value along with it, marking off the matching colour and number. The yellow die allows you to circle spaces to acquire bonuses and then cross them out when you mark them a second time in order to accrue points. The blue die, always paired with the white one, which incidentally acts as a wild I can be any colour I want, encourages you to start with a higher number and get incrementally lower as you go. The green and pink dice are then further variations on a theme. But it's not quite as simplistic as all that. You also get bonuses the further you delve into each category, often in the form of marking another space elsewhere, which you can then chain into other bonuses and so on and gloriously so on. You've also got the obligatory reroll bonuses, taking back dice you've discarded bonuses, and pick more than the 3 dice on your turn and 1 dice on every other player's turn bonuses, rounding out the whole package of cleverness. So why might you like the game? Well, first things first, you obviously need to like rolling dice and writing things on pieces of paper. But this is also quite thinky, numbers based roll and write. You really don't need a mathematical mind to appreciate it, because it's more about how you navigate ramping into all the in-game bonuses and end-game scoring synergies. There's definitely a curve or a wave if you like that requires you to time your points grab very well in order to get the most points possible, and so it's this that will primarily determine whether it's a hit or miss for you. This is also a game that's extremely addictive in terms of chasing your highest score. Made even worse by the fact that you can play this solo with a mechanism that mostly simulates multiplayer, and then really go to town on mapping out the best route to a treasure trove of points. Finally, a note of praise for its portability and bang for your buck. The same can of course be said of its sister title Doppelt So Clever, but to be clear here, you're getting a highly replayable game that keeps you engaged despite having a 1 player at a time turn sequence, and then alongside a well considered and pitched just right game length, all packaged in a neat little travel size box. I can think of a lot worse platitudes to give a game. So why might you not like the game? Well, as a standalone product, I'd say this is slightly inferior to Doppelt So Clever, purely by virtue of this needing to differentiate itself from its elder sibling. So I can't help this point being in the negative column. I just think if you don't have either, you're better off with the other one. But also, considering this game in a vacuum, there is a slight wonkiness in the balance. The yellow category really does need to be invested in at just the right time for it to be worth it, leaving you to either ignore it or commit hard to it. And the blue category seems counterintuitive given the early game need to use lower valued dice where possible. But when all's said and done, this is a welcome addition to the series. It's not a game that supersedes what came before, but as they say, variety is the spice of life, and so I say Prost. However, that's it from me. I'll see you next time. After careful consideration, I think I would have gone with Gone Clever, the sequel. Or That's Pretty Clever as well.